there's not a non-evil corporation. I mean, you could Sara Lee, Colgate-Palmolive. They're all involved in all sorts of destructive, anti-human, anti-goodness. I mean, every corporation out there is part of the system. It's not like there's a huge corporation out there you can work for that's not.
Well, I mean, if you've ever seen a documentary called The Corporation, it's a Canadian group did that. I mean, it's a really eye-opening, look at what corporations actually are and who they're beholden to. And, it's profit over anything.
Yeah. All right, tell you what, I think I hear the music starting up. This is a short segment, and we'll pick it up on the other side of the break. All right, welcome back. Oh, I think I may have dropped Ed. Let me try to bring him back on here. All right. Let me hold on, Ed. Let me bring you back on here. Okay.
Hey.
All right. Yeah, I have to drag you back in.
Okay.
Okay. So, did you sort out your internet thing?
Yes.
Okay. Did you go ahead and stab the agent that was sitting outside your backyard?
The Illuminati said I'm allowed to.
Speaking of that, I just remember one time I was listening to someone in this form of medium, and they were talking about how their hard drive crashed and they lost all their data and research because the Illuminati got to them because they were going to reveal something major. And I'm like, are you sure it wasn't because you use or maybe because you're using Windows? Let's forget the most plausible explanation, right?
Yeah.
Or that hard drives actually fail sometimes, which
Yeah. I used to basically be a tech, basically a consultant for internet consulting, and I used to do web development, of course. But I've had lots of hard drives crash, and I've only lost information on one hard drive, and that was because of a really bad virus that I couldn't beat. But I've never lost all my information because of it. It's always on there. So
yeah, I mean, and look,
tricks to it.
I've worked in computers. I have a system here. Basically, I'm not going to give away all my information, but yeah, if there's anything on one hard drive, I guarantee you there's another hard drive somewhere in my system that's basically is a complete mirror of that other drive. Hard drives will fail sometimes.
Yes, definitely. And that's the other thing. All these photographs, people were like, are you backing your stuff up? And oh yeah, believe me, I back up many times and off-site backups too.
No, I'm just going to have faith in Windows, and that the Illuminati won't leave me alone for the time being.
Yeah.
I think you passed the test there. You passed the Illuminati test. For now.
Ooh, is that the toughest one we got? Come on. You can do better than
that. I was saying before the break that, I was getting some flack about corporations I used to work for. And again, I can't mention their names because of confidentiality agreements. Yeah. But one of the ones I was working for, I was to recently learn, I was working for them right before 9/11, was one of the companies that made a lot of money off of this thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and look, I didn't know anything about that. I just show up, got a check once in a while, and of course, where I tell you where they were located, and that, I'm sure here I am putting out some propaganda about myself out there so people can jump on it. Yes.
Yeah.
I coincidentally ended my contract 3 weeks before 9/11.
Really? So you're in on it then, huh?
Obviously, I didn't. Otherwise I might have been there across the street from the buildings when they came down.
So who called you up and told you?
The Illuminati.
Yeah, I got the call too.
So I'm sure somebody could build a case that, look, he worked for this company and this company, and he cut his contract right before the towers came down.
People, that's one thing that, you listen to people and they all they do is they repeat things that they see on the TV or they hear on the internet, and they'll swear to you up and down that they didn't get that information there. They got it from somebody else. But, it's very difficult for people to find really good information and actually understand that what is factual and what is hearsay. And a lot of people just don't really understand that, those differences between the information. And I try to explain that to people, and I say, look, the things that I do are things that I can take to court and I can use to build a case to get a grand jury indictment or things like that. They're not hearsay. It's not, because somebody's mother works with their friend and told me so. That doesn't mean anything to me. And even if somebody tells me that they are that person over the phone, that doesn't mean anything to me either. I can't prove it. So, people have to really understand that what they see online and what they're shown on TV is a good chance it's not really correct, or it's been put out there just to disinform you and put you on a different path, or the wrong path.
I think that's what a lot of this alternative media was designed to do. Absolutely.
I'll agree with that 100%. Yeah.
Let's get into your work somewhat, but one more thing I want to say before we do is like I've been talking about some of this for a while, not the personages behind it, but that you don't need I don't need Ed Charini to tell me that the news is fake. Okay, I mean what you do is different, but I'm saying for any of us out there, for any of you listening, you don't need to hear us right now to realize the news is fake, because it should be obvious to you that by now that a lot of the news you are receiving is completely made up and scripted. Just
correct.
Based on just common sense and how blatantly they misrepresent certain stories that they put out there and how fake they seem.
Yeah. And the other thing is, you ever switch between channels while you're watching the news, and one channel has the same story on as the other channel does at the same time? I mean, what are the odds of that? What are they just, I mean, they're all given the same stories to work with. They all have, they call it pickle packs or whatever, and they're given them the script and the clips to go with it, and they're supposed to just read off the script, and that's the story.
Wait, so they call them pickle packs?
Yeah, I've heard that rumor. I don't know. I had a friend that worked in that industry and said, yeah, this is like a pickle pack or a package that they send them, and they look at it, and they have to read the script with their reporters, and they already have the clips already done. They're handed the clips, and they just put it in there, and that's what they do. So that's why everybody shows the same clips on all the stations.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me, because I find that a lot of the people, again, it's not like people don't understand. It's not a very large conspiracy. It's a very small conspiracy. But the system is so fine-tuned to rework. Again, it takes very little influencing there. But so it doesn't surprise me that it would be called a pickle pack, because that speaks right to the whole gay subculture and undertones that I address in my show.
Yeah.
I mean, why else would you call something a pickle pack in the news industry?
I have no idea, but yeah, I mean, there's video of the president saying that they use those packages of information. They'll hand them out to the news bureaus, and he says that everybody uses them. I mean, it's a video of him standing there saying that, yeah, everybody uses those things, and I don't understand why people don't realize it. I mean, this is the president saying it. So, yeah, I mean, it should be obvious to people, but obviously it's not.
No, it's not.
Yeah, and that's the problem.
I've brought up a couple of examples before, but quite a few, but two that stand out right now where people should just be like, okay, we're obviously being lied to. There's one image that was presented by the Associated Press of Marines engaged in some battle in somewhere in Iraq or Afghanistan, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it shows like all these soldiers, and they're trying to climb the sand berm, and there's a whole behind them. There's a whole line of what do you call them? Sandbags, right? And they're all ducking under the sandbags, etc. And there's one guy standing in like somewhere near the middle of the background of the picture, right? And he's standing up, looking totally the opposite way of where the fire is allegedly coming from, standing over the barrier that all the other Marines are, squatted down under.
Yeah. I always tell people, where's the cameraman standing? And if the cameraman's standing up and there's bullets flying at them, it's fake. It's fake. The cameraman's going to duck for cover the same way everybody else does. And if that camera's not shooting from, the grass, and you see grass in front of it, then it's not real. And, you see the scenes of the Marine, and they're just letting loose with the machine gun, and the cameraman standing right behind him, standing up and just, got the shot of him shooting this machine gun. Well, if he's doing that, then it's not real. It's set up, because the cameraman's not going to stand there and be shot at. He's just not going to. So people just need to use common sense, but they don't. I mean,
no,
look at the Occupy movements. Now we have these tear gas scenes. And if anybody out there has been through the military, we've had training in tear gas. We know what tear gas feels like, and we know how bad it hurts and, what it does to you. And even if you just get a little bit of it by you, it soaks through the skin if your skin's wet. And these individuals you just see with handkerchiefs on their face, I mean, come on. And they're just laughing and they're having a good time there because it's a set. It's a joke. And I know... I'm sorry.
That's actually a good point about where's the vantage of the camera when this shot was taken.
That's actually something that I've been noticing in these Occupy movements, where a lot of the things that we're seeing were the same, say it was the same street, the same event on that street, but they have multiple cameramen that are placed throughout the street, so they can show you a perspective, a close-up perspective of two people fighting on that street, and then show you the next night the same shot, the same street, but a different cameraman on different people, and say it's another night. So they separate it and they can break it up. That one incident that they can just film and then put in a can, they can make 3 or 4 different nights out of it. So you're seeing this intermingled with the live footage of people that are actually down at these locations that are putting stuff up on YouTube. And then you'll see that night's, a piece that's already been shot. And there's those same actors, the same cameraman, Brandon Pittman, and all that are in those same shots again. So the perception management, they're really good at doing it. And the thing that I was trying to do with the military people is, clue them into, hey, do you remember the tear gas? So this is fake because when you see that tear gas and you know what it's like, now you know it's fake. And all of a sudden their eyes go, oh, wow, I didn't even realize that. And it clicks to them. So that's all you really have to do is point out a couple of these things to certain people, and then all of a sudden it clicks. And it's so obvious that it's very easy to show them the fakeness about it.
Yeah, I'm going to try to find that shot that I mentioned right there, of the shot, to put it in the chat room in a second, probably during the break. But, when I see something like that, it seems to me like they're just saying, like, go F yourself.
Yeah.
Like, they don't care. They're just like, we know you're stupid.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's part of they like to mock and laugh and ridicule the common people, the plebeians, us. I think that's why they called us peons back in the old days, because they could literally, back then when, we were a little more subservient, because when the system wasn't so hidden from us, they could literally just walk by and piss on us.
Yeah. Or throw it out their windows of their mansions on everybody else that's on the street. Yeah.
And that's why, that expression, that is where the expression pissed on and pissed off comes off.
I believe it.
When you get pissed on, you get pissed off.
And then you look at the names that they use. They purposely make those names just to mess with us.
I wanted to get that a bit later. I got a couple of things I want to cite from that, but I want to get into some of your work here. One of the other things I wanted to bring up first is this another example for the people out there listening. Just something that's so blatantly fake. I remember I was listening to somebody else's show, and they were talking about what's going on down in Mexico, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's someone in their chat room trying to convince everybody that what's going on over across the Mexican border is, hell on earth, etc. The drug gangs are out of control. They're killing all sorts of people, etc., right? And I'm not saying this is or isn't happening, but this guy was really determined to convince hopefully, I guess, trying to get the host to tune into the proof he was giving it, because I guess he didn't feel like he was addressing it.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody, I think it was me, asked him, like, do you have any proof that this is actually happening? And this person posted an image of a guy who was dead in a ditch, and next to him there was a dead chihuahua. I'm looking at that. I'm like, okay, so that's what's supposed to convince me that this took place in Mexico. Because if the Chihuahuas wasn't there, people would be like, this could be anywhere. Texas, yeah. This could be in Canada. Well, no, he's got a Chihuahua.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah.
And I pointed that out. The guy goes, well, they also shoot their dogs. I'm like, well, how convenient that a Mexican has a Chihuahua then. I mean, if you had a dead German Shepherd laying next to me, you'd be like, oh, this was obviously in Berlin.
Yeah. It's a Doberman Pinscher. He's a German. What are you talking about?
That's a Rottweiler. That's in Hungary. I'm guessing.
He's poodle with French. Yeah, I know.
But, I've done shows on neurolinguistic programming, and they know that's going to work, because the average idiot out there, when they look at that picture, they're going to look at the dead guy in the ditch, which looks like he's got darker skin, right? And assume he's dead, assuming the guy is even dead to begin with. The dog most likely is dead, because dogs aren't as good at faking their deaths, and like they care about killing some random chihuahua. And yeah, they know that when the average moron looks at that picture, they're going to go, Yo quiero Taco Bell, Mexico.
Yeah.
Boom.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the advantage. You look at the work of Edward Bernays, and his uncle Sigmund Freud. Those two basically found the Achilles heel of man, and they basically learned how to exploit it. And just those visual scenes, we just become so accustomed